Welcome back. You're tuned into Market Fatafat, where we are telling you all the stocks that are buzzing away in trade. And right now, we're joined by Aditya Arora, who's the founder and Multi Asset Research Analyst, Adlytick. Hi, Aditya. Welcome to Market Fatafat. Well, let's begin with all the stocks that are buzzing in trade then. Aditya, you've picked out Ujjivan Small Finance Bank for us. Well, just look at the stock. In the last 6 months, it has actually eroded the investors' wealth. Is it time that, we will see some moves on this stock, or how does one play this counter?
Very good afternoon, everyone. I think tables have turned and the stock looks pretty good now. After a healthy correction, I must say, stock offers an attractive opportunity to get in the counter. Buy this stock at 46.25 and stop loss must be 43 and target is 49 to 55. So it looks pretty good and bullish at this time.
All right, let's shift focus. Let's talk about Wockhardt. And Wockhardt today is actually seeing a good uptick on an intraday basis. The stock saw an uptick of as much as 4.5% or so. Now it is actually cooled off from those elevated levels. The company has launched share sale to institutional investors, or QIP, and the approved floor price for that QIP is around 544.02 rupees per share. So on back of that, you saw Wockhardt actually see a good gains in trade today, but he has now given up most of his gains, just trading with meager gains of about 0.7%.
All right, coming to you, Aditya, again. Intellect Design, this share has given up some good gains of, over 50-55%. Is this time to be cautious, or how do you play this counter? Is it time to add more positions, or how do you play this?
I think the needle is pointing towards to be greedy at this point in time, because the sentiments are pretty good in IT space. Yesterday we saw stellar rally in Nasdaq post Federal Reserve's decision. So I think Intellect is also showing some good momentum today, and the sentiments are pretty positive along with a technical breakout. So I would be a buyer in this counter at this level, which is 1100 kind of levels. So it's a buy at this price, and stop loss is 1020 and target is 1180. So the outlook is pretty bullish.
Outlook is pretty bullish when it comes to Intellect Design. Ashesha, Motilal Oswal, why do you have this stock on the radar?
Has come out with an initiating coverage note on Motilal Oswal. They have initiated coverage with a buy rating and a target price of 2,000 rupees per share. As you can see, the stock currently trades at 1620 odd levels, indicating nearly 20 to 20% upside even from the current market price. The stock has run up nearly 2.5% today. Motilal Oswal, they say, is a diversified franchise set to capitalize on multi-decade opportunity on wealth creation. So they are very positive on this counter. They say consistent compounding track record has been overlooked by the market, and the valuations also look pretty attractive. They see enough safety of margin in valuation. So on the back of this very positive initiating coverage report that has come in from MK with a buy rating and a target price of 2,000, we are seeing that up move come in on the stock, 2.5% higher in trade as we speak.
Well, all right, moving on to another stock, Bharti Airtel, that is in focus today. Well, Jefferies has come out with a note on this particular counter. They're maintaining a buy with a target price of 1,300 rupees. Now, well, they're saying that management is highlighting that it's focused on driving some steady organic increase in the ARPU. Well, and also the ARPU improvement is likely to be through improving subscriber mix and better monetization. And of course, the timing of tariff hikes likely to remain uncertain. That's, of course, we also heard the management say that. But, the higher tariffs will be the key for 5G monetization and the improving ROCEs. The management also expects the capex to moderate from FY25 and aims to deleverage the balance sheet further. And because of that, Jefferies is maintaining a buy on this particular counter. This one is in focus today. Currently, it's eased off the morning gains. It's trading with a cut of 1%. Bit of a profit booking coming in there for Bharti Airtel.
It's absolutely a bit of profit booking, given the fact that the stock has also seen a sharp elevation of late as well. That's Bharti Airtel for you. But let's move on. Aditya, let's talk about Sobha, and how is this one looking to you on the charts right now? Realty counters have been, or you could say, flavor of the season or of the year. Last 3 months also the stock has seen, I beg your pardon, today the stock is actually seeing an uptick of as much as 10% or so, and the ride has not been that rough also if you look at for the realty players. Where do you see Sobha headed from here on?
As you rightly said, real estate counters are flavor of the season, and They are back with a bang after a very good correction in mid-cap, small-cap space. All the reality counters are trading at important support levels. So is true for Sobha, which has broken important range of 1330. So I think now the sentiments are positive, the trend is positive. So looks pretty good from here. Sobha could be bought at 1380. Stop loss must be 1240, and target is 1500 and 1550. So the trend is positive.
All right, with that, it's time for us to slip into a short break. But before that, we leave you with a little piece of news there. Investing $400 million in financial services in the next 3 years, and we plan to invest another $500 million in the upcoming 3 years. That's the word coming in from MD of Multiples Alternate Asset Management, Nithya Iswaran. Listen in as she identifies the area where she sees growth in the upcoming years.
It's been a very exciting time the last few years in terms of adoption of digital in financial services. So we've been also thereby looking at it with great interest. I've always considered fintechs to be a continuum. This financial services and fintechs is actually in a way a continuum. And I've also preferred companies which play in the center of regulation always, rather than being on the fringes and then interacting with regulatory entities. Because if you are talking to customers and if you're talking to regulated agencies on the entities on the other side, you're very much you have to adopt practices which are thereby appropriate for that role which you play. So we look for entrepreneurs which are which bring a good background of financial services combined with technology. Where are they? Why do we need these fintechs, right? What are they really bringing? One is great customer experience, which allows thereby more inclusion, and you are able to take products which are smaller sized to the customer, bite size, which a traditional distribution system may not allow you to take, and that's where that's their USP. What the banks and other financial services companies bring is good risk management practices, great balance sheets, good capital, and thereby a combination of these two is best for the customer. So we've had some excellent investments. We've invested in ACO. It's an insurance company, but a tech-first insurance companies, and some of what they are able to do, it's difficult to do without technology. For example, one of the most exciting things about ACO is that their first notice of loss is close to 70%. What this means is if there is an incident with your car, who do you call? The dealer or the company? And who you call determines the quality of experience you will have in the claims, determines the intensity of claims for the insurance company. And to have, industry leading 70% plus FNOL is unheard of. It's at least 20 percentage points higher than the traditional insurance sector. Because it's an app-led digital-first company, ACO is able to do that. And that allows them to get great quality customers and provide a very good experience. So we'll continue to look for these places. I think some of the places where fintechs will play a very interesting role is also in addressing affluent India with products, whether it's in wealth management. Because we have seen the HNI India being addressed through the classical wealth management companies. But there is a whole affluent India where you will have a phygital approach. So some of those would become very, very interesting. And even in the classical sector, so let's say a supply chain finance company with a good dose of digital-led, technology-led innovation will allow this sector to do well.
All right. So within the financial sector, are there any subsets which are particularly attracting a great deal of interest from PE investors, especially global PE firms? And are there any potential candidates right now in your sector that you're currently in talks with to invest?
We always have a pipeline, Anurag, which is live and kicking. So at any point in time, we would at least have 7 or 8 companies that we are evaluating in financial services alone. So yes, we are very much active. We are in our 4th fund now. In the last 3 years, 2021 to 2024, we have put out about $400 million in financial services alone. and I have gone out and actually said I want to put $500 million in the next 3 years. So we will be very active in the investing front. The 2-3 segments which I spoke about, which is the MSME sector, both the small ticket MSME as well as supply chain finance will continue to attract us. Affordable housing finance we spoke about a bit. Consumer financing, we are seeing both credit cards, personal loans. A lot of chatter around it, but I do believe there will be some breakout stories here. Education finance will be of interest. Asset and wealth management to affluent India, as well as insurance, health insurance. All of these play to the increasing affluence of India and people paying attention to their to the financial products that they want to consume.
Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now, and let's just pull up the charts for DCB Bank and let's see what that counter is doing at this point in time. There you go. You know that huge spike that has come in the stock, and the reason for that is flashing on the bottom of your screen because the bank has a new MD and CEO. Mr. Praveen Achyutan Kutty has been appointed as the additional director and the managing director and the CEO of the bank for a period of about 3 years, effective April 29, 2024. On back of this appointment, the fact that the bank has got a new MD and CEO for a period of 3 years, you can see the stock actually recovering from the day's lowest point. A huge spike also coming in for DCB Bank, Ankita.
Yes, absolutely. But we'll continue with all the other stocks that are buzzing away in trade. Coming to you, Aditya, then you've picked out REC for us. Well, this counter has given some good returns to investors. In fact, it has given some really good gains over a period of 6 months. How do you play this counter? Hold on to the positions or book out profits?
So I think electricity counters have been very favorite bets of investors on the last street. I think that will continue to be so because the stock is trading firmly today, up 6.5%. I think all the PSU stocks are poised for a good bounce back now. And I think now REC could also regain its lost glory or regain its lost levels. So I think one should wait right now. It's not time to book out. One should wait. I think it's also a fresh buy at this price. So it could be bought at 450.35 and stop loss is 420 and target is 480. So one should definitely hold and one can also add the counter at this level.
All right, so that is REC for you. Just quickly marking some global update that we are getting in the bottom of your screen. You have the Swiss National Bank that's gone ahead for a surprise rate cut. They've cut their policy rates by 25 basis points. Now it's coming at around 1.5%. The street was expecting no rate cut coming in. So you have the Swiss National Bank gone ahead with a surprise rate cut. And you have the Swiss franc that is actually weakened versus the dollar. Remember, yesterday you had the FOMC meet outcome sounding a bit dovish on that particular front. You had Brazil that went ahead and cut the rates also on overnight. And now you have Swiss National Bank also taking the plunge and cutting a rate, or rather surprise rate cut coming in from Swiss National Bank, Ankita. But let's move back home. Let's talk about Cipla. And that one is gaining in trade today. And the reason why Cipla is actually buzzing in trade is because HSBC has maintained a buy stance on the counter with a target price that they've raised to about 1,585 rupees per share from earlier 1,500 rupees per share. And this particular target is the highest among the rest of the analyst estimates. HSBC believes that the strong outlook in Cipla's key market, that's India, US and South Africa, the company's inhalers and peptides will provide comfort on the medium-term outlook for the US sales. So therefore, they are expecting great catalysts coming in for Cipla, and the stock is trading higher, 1.9%.
Absolutely, Cheryl. But moving on, Aditya, you picked out Engineers India for us. This stock is one of the top gainers today. It's soaring away more than 12% in trade. Tell us, how do you play this counter? What are you penciling in for the charts for this one?
I think that's what happens when market reverses after a very steep correction. A lot of small cap and mid cap will witness momentum like Engineers India, and momentum in Engineers India is bound to continue. So it's a good buy. One can accumulate this counter at 196.10. Stop loss is 179 and target is 220 to 230. So it's a good candidate. It's a bullish candidate.
All right, moving on to another stock that is in focus today, and that is Torrent Power. Now, Torrent Power, the company has entered into a share purchase agreement for the acquisition of a 100% equity stake in Solapur Transmission, the SPV, from PFC Consulting. Now, the Solapur Transmission has to establish a transmission system for the evacuation of power from RE projects in Solapur in the district, in the SEZ zone in Maharashtra. And on the back of that, Torrent Power is in focus today. It is up and away 1.7% right now.
All right, that is Torrent Power for you. Let's talk about the cement sector then, Snehi, and why is the entire cement space in focus today?
Well, Cheryl, the cement space is in focus on the back of a note coming in from Macquarie, and the entire space seems to be doing pretty well for itself. And let's take a look at the individual moves and the individual recommendations that Macquarie is making. They've gone ahead, maintained a neutral rating on Ambuja, but have hiked the target price to 608 rupees from 501. For ACC, they've maintained a neutral rating, hiked the target price to 2,592. Neutral rating coming for Shree Cement as well, with a target hiked to 27,034. Maintained an outperform rating for Dalmia Bharat, but they've gone ahead and trimmed the target price to 2,233 from 2,503. Maintained a neutral rating on Ramco Cement as well, but they've cut the target price to 876 from 1,000 rupees. And for Ultratech Cement, they've maintained a neutral rating with the target price of 10,609. So, well, on the back of all of these individual notes that have come in from Macquarie on the entire cement sector, all the stocks seem to be doing well, holding firmly in the green as we speak.
All right, moving on to you, Aditya. You picked out a PFC for us, Power Finance Corporation. Well, this stock is, powering away in trade, up more than 6.5% today. Of course, it's coming on the back of the news flow regarding Torrent Power, as I had mentioned. But, in the last 1 month, we have seen a bit of a correction coming on this stock, even though it has given some good gains in the last 6 months. Tell us, what do you pencil in for this stock then?
Has corrected quite a bit from 477 to almost 351. So the froth is away, weak hands are out of the system, and now the stock is ready for the next leg of the rally. I think this stock can be bought at 385. Stop loss must be 355, and target is 415 to 435.
All right, so that's the take coming in on PFC. Let's not forget, this one also has seen a sharp rally with the rest of the PSU pack as well. But Ashesha, coming to you, Mahanagar Gas, how is this? Why is this one in focus today?
Come out with a report on Mahanagar Gas where they are maintaining their buy stance on the stock, but they've hiked their target price to 1540 from their earlier target price of 1515 rupees. They remember the stock has corrected nearly 13% in the last 1 month alone, and hence Jefferies believes that the recent correction presents a favorable risk reward for Mahanagar Gas. They say soft LNG markets provide additional levers to protect margins for the company over the coming couple of quarters, and EV penetration continues to remain low in the absence of strong policy support, and that is also a positive. So on the back of this report that has come in, where they're maintaining their buy stance with a target price of 1540, we have Mahanagar Gas in focus, nearly 3% higher in trade, has recovered significantly from the lowest point of the day.
Let's talk about the latest kid on the block, that's Crystal Integrated Services. That particular stock actually made its debut on the D Street with 11% gain. Now it is actually trading subdued, just 1% gain. Remember, the stock actually saw the IP price was at around 715 rupees per share. The stock actually saw an uptick of as much as 11%. It has stayed above the IPO price, no doubt. But the company, if you look at it, it offers staffing for human resource services, private security catering, and maintenance operation. But for now, the stock has given up all of its morning gains or debut gains. Now it's trading higher by just 1%.
All right. And with that, we are completely out of time on this edition of Market Fatafat. But tell you what, we'll leave you with this little programming note. Well, we are back with the latest edition of Times Now Summit. Over the years, Times Now Summit has been championing pertinent national agenda points where India's leadership, leading thinkers and national influencers come together to define the action plan for India's progress themed India Unstoppable. And this year we will focus on charting India's remarkable journey and its increasing influence on the global stage. So join us on the 27th and the 28th of March in New Delhi and watch the who's who of political corridors share their views. Do stay with us for all the highlights and all the action as the action begins here on the Times Network. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Market Fatafat. To the entire team, thank you so much for putting this show together, and all our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in.